Hi, I'm Maya, 23, and you are not going to believe what happened to me last year. Before I even start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the rest of my story. It's insane, trust me. So this all started when I thought I had the perfect boyfriend. Let's call him Ethan. We'd been together for 2 years, and honestly, I was head over heels in love. I mean, the kind of love where you'd give someone your last piece of chocolate and your hoodie even if it's freezing outside. Yeah, that kind of love. Everything seemed fine until one night. I was scrolling through Reddit. Yes, I know, probably my mistake. Just reading some cheating stories because, curiosity kills. Then I noticed something. One of the posts had a screenshot of a conversation, and my stomach dropped. The username matched Ethan's, and the texts were, let's just say, not meant for me. I froze. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking. Could it really be him? My mind was screaming, this can't be real. But then I saw it again. The messages, the photos, the dates. It was him. And the worst part? He wasn't even trying to hide it. The next morning, I confronted him. I walked into his apartment, heart racing, palms sweaty. I said, Ethan, we need to talk. He looked at me like I had grown 2 heads. I showed him the screenshots. His reaction? He laughed, I swear. He laughed in my face. Can you imagine that? 2 years and he thought he could just brush it off? That's when I realized I couldn't just cry about it. I couldn't just let this slide. No, I needed revenge. I needed him to feel the same betrayal and humiliation that I felt. But I had to be smart. I couldn't just yell or storm out. He needed to see the consequences of his actions. And so I started planning. Every little lie he told, every secret he tried to hide, I collected it. I observed him, his habits, even his friends. Every detail mattered. I wanted this to be perfect, unforgettable. Little did he know, the perfect girlfriend he thought he knew was already turning into a mastermind. I was calm on the outside, but inside, I was brewing the ultimate revenge. And you won't believe what happened next. This happened the week after I found the screenshots. I told myself to breathe, to think like the girl in those stories who never cries in public, because drama is great for Reddit, but real-life revenge needs patience. So I stayed quiet. I smiled. I made coffee for him. I acted like nothing had cracked. Then I started pulling threads. First, I needed proof beyond Reddit. I created a fake account. Yes, I know, shady, but listen, this was about exposing a liar. I messaged one of his friends, someone who always posted party pics with him. I said I was an old classmate, harmless, curious. They told me things. Small things. Where Ethan hid his extra phone, the bar he liked to go to on Thursdays, the nickname a certain girl used for him. Every tiny detail was a breadcrumb. Then I found her, sort of. She wasn't exactly the other woman at first glance. She was a smiling face in a group photo tagged with the same bar. I dug deeper. This happened. I stalked like a detective, piecing together nights, times, and excuses. I found receipts, a pattern of lies about work late that matched late-night posts. He had been living 2 lives, my honest, everyday boyfriend and his secret midnight version. One night, I left his place pretending to be upset. I texted him a short, cold message. We need space. He replied with guilt, begging, perfect. I used that. I told him I was going to stay at my sister's. Public enough. He believed it. While he packed up his guilt, I set the next step. I invited his closest friends to a casual dinner. But I had a plan. I told them privately that Ethan had been unfaithful and that I had proof. Some raised eyebrows, some scoffed. He showed up late, acting clueless, wearing that same dumb smile. I watched every move. I dropped hints, like a song lyric or a throwaway comment about that bar on Thursday. Things only someone in the know would say. His friends glanced at each other. Confusion spread. Then I revealed the screenshots, projected on my phone like a tiny flashlight of truth. The room went quiet. Ethan stammered, made excuses. One of his friends, his oldest, the one he always trusted, pulled out his own phone and showed a string of messages confirming more. You won't believe what happened next. A girl in the corner stood up. It was the woman from the photo. She had come because she saw my post on Reddit. Ironic, right? And wanted to speak. Her voice was steady. She didn't need me to defend her. The fallout was immediate. Friends chose sides. Some left the table. Some sat in stunned silence. Ethan tried to charm his way out, but charm doesn't work when your lies are pinned on the table like bugs under glass. I sat there, heart pounding but calm. My revenge wasn't loud. It was surgical. I had turned his small lies into a public truth. And then he did something I didn't expect. He apologized, like a man who finally saw the wreckage he caused. But sorry didn't fix the ruined trust. I had one last move planned, and you won't believe how I closed the chapter. This happened in the days after that dinner, when the dust should have settled but didn't. People asked questions. Friends texted me, half sympathetic, half curious. Ethan called like a man chasing a train he'd already missed. He begged, he promised. He said, "I'll change, you know the lines." I listened, but I'd already learned something important. People don't change because they're sorry. They change when consequences are real. My last move had to be something that closed the chapter cleanly, not a drama scene, not humiliation for the sake of attention, but a lesson with dignity. So I crafted it to be public but measured. I created a private online post, call it a truth thread, where I told the story in my voice. Not angry rants. Not vendetta ramblings, but the timeline, the screenshots, the receipts, the names. I wrote it like I was talking to a friend. This happened, and you won't believe what happened next. I labeled it honest, and I posted it in a place where the people who mattered would see it. Mutual friends, his workmates, and yes, the Reddit community that started it all. The reaction was a mirror. Some messages were supportive, others were shocked, and a few were cruel. But most importantly, the people who had been on the fence finally knew the truth. Ethan's job heard about it from more than one direction. His reputation, not just mine, started to shift. He lost party invitations, awkward coffee meetups dried up, and his closest circle became smaller and colder. That wasn't my goal to punish. It was the natural consequence of someone who built a life on small betrayals. Then something unexpected happened. One of the girls he'd drifted toward reached out to me privately. She wasn't proud of what she'd done. She'd been used and misled, too. We talked long into the night. It was strange, two people who hurt for different reasons, swapping stories like old friends. It made me realize revenge doesn't heal everything, but sometimes truth lets you breathe again. A few weeks later, I packed a small bag and left the apartment that had become heavy with memories. I didn't make a scene. I slid the keys into the palm of his hand and said, "This is where our story ends." He looked up, tired finally, and didn't say much. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he learned what I already knew. Breaking trust leaves a crack that no apology can glue. Life didn't explode into dramatic revenge movie fireworks. It unfolded quietly, freedom in small things, sleeping without checking my phone, laughing without doubting, wearing his hoodie one last time before letting it go. I started seeing myself again, without him in the background. And the last part of the plan? I deleted the fake account, closed the receipts folder, and kept the lessons. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. When you catch someone lying, you don't have to become them. You can choose truth, dignity, and a revenge that doesn't destroy you, one that simply reclaims your life. If you want the full details, the timeline and the screenshots I used to expose him, I'll post a follow-up and walk you through how I stayed calm and collected through it all. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss it. Believe me, you'll want to hear the little tricks I used to protect myself and make sure he couldn't gaslight me afterward.